You're live streaming.
All right. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, we're live here on Focus on You with Phil and Oscar. Man, it is great to be back live streaming, talking to you. We have a great interview ahead of us with author Bishop ONeil Williams of the book, Stop the Procession. It's your time to win. I think the title says everything because we are in a season and a time where we need to, get some positive word going out there, some positive news. And of course, the bishop is coming to us with this great message in his book that we don't have to continue to go on with the way things are going. His program airs on September 19th. Every third Saturday of the month, you're going to see him here on the Phoenix National Business Group network of programs that we produce. So we hope that you all welcome him when you come on Saturday mornings at around 8 a.m. You will see him live here on the Phoenix National Business Group network. And of course, my fellow co-host, Oscar Capel, is in the room. Love having you, Oscar, man. How you
Hello,
doing?
Gentlemen. Good. Happy to be alive. Nice to be on this side of the dirt. So I'm ready for anything new today.
Is there something on the other side of the dirt?
Yeah, a long nap.
Worms, bugs.
All of that. Hey, listen, I'm getting cremated because I worked a long time on this body. Nothing's going to take up and I get to pollute the atmosphere. Bonus.
So welcome to our program, Bishop ONeil. Good to have you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's good to be here.
So tell us a little bit about yourself first. So what do you do? And, tell us what inspired you to write this book.
A little about myself. As mentioned, based on the title, I'm a pastor, senior pastor of the church that I founded over 8 years ago. The good thing about this church is that it was founded in one of the most difficult times of my life. It was founded in the time where this book kind of correlate with, because it was the downturn of things that were going on, that it was a good place for anyone to quit. It was a good place for anyone to throw in the towel. And I had to motivate myself to come back from my setback. And not just with my own self, but had people around me who helped to motivate me, and also uses different mediums to help me to crawl back from that place of disappointment and setbacks. And so I pastor this church that God has been blessing, and also I'm bivocational. So I work for a company also. The purpose of this book that drove me to write this book is, as I said, is based on my own experience that I've gone through. I'm hoping to help others who may find themselves in that same situation, that at that time I never had something like this, a resource like this to lean on, to read from. But hopefully now I can help somebody else who may be in that position or find themselves going in that position, that this book can help to bring them back from that setback in their lives. So that's the purpose of this book. That's what motivated me. And based on some other testimonies that drove me to finally make the decisions to write this book, that's one of the main motivating factor, because this is a word that I was preached, not just a title of a book, but it's a message that I preached that has touched lives. And because we're in an unpredictable time, that we never see this coming. And a lot of people have lost so much, whether they lost loved ones, or they lost their savings, or they lost their jobs. They have lost a lot. And so this is a good time for them to understand that they do not have to become victims of their situation, but that they can come back from a setback.
Wow. That is awesome. That is I mean, you know, so it's amazing that we learn from some of our deepest wounds, right?
Yes. Yes.
Some people learn. Some people just get bitter. Right? Some people just get mad and this is just so wrong. The world is so unfair. But we don't study and learn from our mistakes. Go ahead,
Absolutely.
Oscar.
You know, basically, everything that happens to us is a lesson. So we either learn from it and grow, or we keep living in that lesson until we learn the lesson and move on. You know, I'm struck that you say you were basically inspired to write this, and it reminds me of Isaac being told to sow in famine. So we are in famine, boys and girls. So this is the time to sow on faith and not wait for the ground to be perfect to put those seeds in.
Absolutely.
So I think your book is going to hit a nerve right now for, you know, not just people around here, but all around the world, where this is not a local problem.
Yes.
This is a big reset. So how do we get from where we were when we were comfortable, where all the jobs were there, all, you know, everything was nice, and all of a sudden, starting March, everything went downhill.
Absolutely.
And you're basically saying stop living in your February, March mindset, and let's start September 1st. And here's the handbook.
Yes, that's a perfect way to put it. That's a perfect way to put it.
Philip whispered that in my ear while we were off. So
Bishop ONeil, so tell us a little bit about what you wrote in the foreword on the book, because it's very interesting, and I think that folks would love to hear about.
Absolutely. So if you give me a minute, let me just bring it up here.
Oscar,
yes.
While he's looking for that, right? So could you relate to any of learning lessons that life has taught you over time? Because I know you talk about, you know, when you were a dentist, right?
A dental technician, actually.
Yeah.
I was the guy that did the work and didn't get, you know, to pay for it. You know, the doctors are like, take an impression and, you know, bill you. And we were the grunts that did all the real work in the back. But yeah, I've found out over the 150 years that I've lived here, feels like 150, right? That you need to learn from your mistakes. Don't live there, just learn from what's the lesson. What's the lesson I need to take? And you know, I've gotten this far learning from mistakes. Thomas Edison said, I didn't fail at making a light bulb 9,000 times. I found out how to not make a light bulb 9,000 times.
Right. I mean, but you know, you had a situation where they just kind of like let you guys know that you were being let go.
Oh yeah, that was a phone call on a Sunday night. It wasn't like a long form letter.
It wasn't even a meeting. It was like,
oh no, it wasn't a leading. Like,
oh, by the way, you don't have a job anymore. Bye.
Oh, you listened to that conversation? Yes, that was it.
Wow. Man.
Yeah, and again, I had the choice of you know, what's my next step. There's a saying I have, which is, so what? Now what? Like, all right, so what? This happened. Now what? What's my next step? I don't know where I got it from, but someone says when your back is up against the wall, your next step is forward, because you can't go back any further.
Wow.
So I'm looking to.
You have all these great quotes. Where you get all these great quotes? Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm freaking old. You know, I learned a lot of stuff.
I saw that you're as old as dirt. So, you know, I called your brother Adam up. All right, go ahead, Bishop. Tell us about your forward a little bit.
Yes, if you will, I want to read a little bit of my forward. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So the motivation behind this topic had to do with the fact that I got up one morning with the intention to change the message. I decided to preach because I felt it was not fiery enough. I was not feeling it. I went downstairs with the intention to change the message, but after I sat down, I could hear the voice of God saying, "Do not change the message." Not only was not I was not supposed to change the message, but he started inspiring me to add to the message. I followed the leading of the Holy Spirit and preached the message. I got a message from one of my leaders thanking me for ministering that word today. She went on to say that a friend of hers that she had been ministering to had 2 miscarriages and felt that she had let down her husband and family, and decided on that Sunday morning when her husband would routinely go to the store, she was going to end it with some pills. My leader happened to send her the message that Sunday morning, not knowing what was in her intention. And she decided this would be the last message she listened to. While she was watching the message, her husband happened to have left his cell phone, returned to retrieve it, saw that she was watching the message, and decided to watch it with her. The end of the story is that she's alive today because she got saved. Her husband got saved. Her neighbors watched the message, got saved, and it ended up that some of her family members and friends got saved and baptized from listening to the message. This also revolutionized the faith of some of my members that Sunday who was facing financial and economic crisis. And through this message, their faith was increased, and by believing God for the impossible, their lives were turned around. I'm writing this book because I know what pain and failure looks like. Feels like to have the bottom fell out from underneath you. I remember getting up that Monday morning after resigning my church, feeling hopeless, with no job, no money, no career behind pastoring, which has already failed me, no one to call on, feeling unwanted. The feeling as if you will never come back is a bitter feeling to have. It leaves nasty taste in your mouth. How do you pull yourself up and come back? The Apostle Paul always uses his experience as a lesson to teach others how to not walk down that same path. It is therefore my intention to motivate and assist the next person whose life seems like it is driving you away from your happy place, which is name, and to help you connect with the right source that will help you to rise again. It is only over when you give up. I remembered watching the movie Cool Runnings as those Jamaican athletes who were never even supposed to be in a race of that kind and was committed to defy all the odds. And when they had the setback with their cart, decided that they are committed to the end. They may not have won the race, but decades later, they're still seen as heroes. They won the heart of many generations and the pride of their country because they refused to quit. This moment of your life is necessary, but not permanent. David was comfortable, I believed, being a shepherd. He had never asked to be promoted, but promotion found him. But what else found him was trouble and despair. He found himself running from the very kingdom he's anointed to rule. However, his situation was necessary but not permanent. His struggle taught him how to be a strong king and how to handle adversity. Where you are may not be where you want to be, but who tells you that is not exactly where you're supposed to be? You're being prepared to take on bigger challenges. And if you have no experience to fall back on, how will you get over what you will be facing? Sometimes you have to face challenges privately so you can be prepared to fight battles publicly. No one goes to war without training, and that can be the most difficult part of your destiny, the training. That is where you're either made or broken. Let this book motivate you to get up as you read on. This should not be how the story ends. You're bigger than your failure. It is your time to win.
Wow.
All right, where can I get the book? I think
That
just reading the forward is good enough for me. I'm good. Everything else will be a bonus.
Yeah,
The book is
isn't it?
actually, yeah, the book is actually in a pre-sale mode right now, and so we launched this book about what, Philip, about 3 weeks ago. We
Yes.
launched this book, and it's been it's going on. It's been doing well. We would hope that it do better in terms of the target date we have in mind to get it into production. And so we're looking for individuals to help push this book faster so we can have it out by the end of the year.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's great.
Listening to the forward, I wrote down a couple of things. Like, it was a coincidence that she got the message. It was a coincidence that he walked back in. And, I have down that coincidence is God working anonymously.
Yes.
It's like, oh, how'd this happen? Like, gotcha.
Yes,
pay,
yes.
pay attention to those coincidences, and your story of getting to where you are through the struggle. I wrote down the difference between coal and diamond is pressure and time.
Yes.
You don't have pressure, you don't have time, you're coal.
Yes.
You're worth a few cents an ounce.
There you
Whereas
go.
that same diamond is tens of thousands of dollars.
Absolutely.
Well, don't walk out on the coal part when you got a diamond coming up.
Wow. Wow. Thank you for that.
See, Phil,
quote.
when you get old, you'll
thank
be
you for
able to
that
remember
quote.
this.
I'll give you credit.
Hey,
I'm still
I
writing.
took it from somebody. I don't know who I got it from. I just cataloged these.
I'm still writing. I'll give you credit.
So you know though,
it's all right. Phil is going to take credit for it later.
Imagine that you can think of your bad situation as your end.
Yes.
Or you can think of it as your rebirth.
Absolutely.
I mean, I that's why I love the name of the book. Stop the procession. So you're basically saying, stop everything. We're going to reset.
Absolutely. You don't, and you said something which is so profound, because a lot of times people write books because they want to make money. Mm-hmm. They write books because they feel like that's their gift. But rare anybody write books out of their pain, out of their experiences. Mm. And so when let me say this, when I was pastor in the previous church, I used to counsel a lot of marriages. People were getting married, and I was textbook. Mm-hmm. I used to do it because I went to college. I learned how to be a pastor. I learned how to counsel. But after I had my experience, I learned how to be a shepherd.
Wow.
See, there's a difference between a pastor and a shepherd. Yeah. A shepherd care, a pastor career. But both of them works together if you're empathetic and passionate. Mm-hmm. And so I learned to put both together and make them work effectively. And because of that, I learned how to be more empathetic in this book while writing it, because I'm writing my experience. I'm looking back at what I felt, I'm looking back at how it felt to be in a place where you don't know what your tomorrow looks like.
Wow.
You don't know what the future looks like. And all you're dealing with right now is your current situation and hoping that tomorrow better. And so that's why stop the procession means that, you can't stop life from surprising you. And that's why it's called surprise. Mm-hmm. It will surprise you. But you can stop yourself from being victimized by what surprises you.
That's one thing I've seen a lot. There's a lot of pushing the victim mentality. And yes. You know what I always say, who's benefiting from this? Who's making $1 from pushing victimization?
Absolutely.
So and it's funny that you have that red couch behind you, because most people are going to get hit right in the head with a problem, and they're going to sit on that couch.
Yes.
And wait for something to come and help. And I notice that couch is empty. So whoever it was that was sitting there had to get up
Had to
and
get
go
up.
do something.
I had to
Probably
get
go
up.
out and looking for the book, maybe. But
I love that.
there's
I like
no
my
one
book
on
being
that
into my
couch.
red chair too.
So
Yeah.
there's no one on that couch. You had to get up and go find your answer, make your answer.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
I tie this into the prodigal son, because at some point you have to change your thinking.
Yeah.
At
To
some
change your
point,
living.
right? Yeah, because you know he got to a place. The prodigals, if you don't know, it's where it's basically a rich kid who leaves his dad and says, "I can make it on my own." He goes out, flops it big time, you know, ends up working for some pig farm somewhere, and starts eating the pig's food and realizes, wait a minute, I could go back to my father's house and live
Yes.
even better than what I'm living right now, but because of my ego and my, pride and everything, because of all of that, I decided I'm going to leave because I'm grown. Right.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
sometimes you can make a bad decision and end up
Worse.
in a bad place. Yeah.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it's up to you to say, you know what? I can recover from this.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
If I just
Never jump off a moving roller coaster.
it always hurts. I mean, you sometimes we miscalculate our decision, and
Yes.
we make rash decisions, or even sometimes we don't even have a place, right? Sometimes the cards that we were dealt, it wasn't even cards that we chose.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And what would you have? What would you say to somebody like that? In that place where they felt like the cards they didn't choose these cards, they just were dealt these cards.
Right. The good thing about what you just said in one of my book, it says there's a thin line between happiness and unhappiness.
Mm-hmm.
And I use that line because you can live below the line or above the line or on the line. And so that's why it's a thin line. You can fall off it, you can stay on it, or you can rise above it. And you mentioned in the example of that prodigal son, he was on a thin line because he was basically had everything to his control, where he can either make it or break it. And he chose to go on his own and fell below the line.
Right.
But he chose not to live below the line. And so that's what's important about this whole aspect of happiness and unhappiness. You have to find it within you. It takes willpower for you to encourage yourself. It takes willpower for you to tell yourself, I am going to rise again from where I am. And sometimes that willpower needs a motivation. And that's where this book comes in. Because sometimes you're there, but you just need somebody to push you. And that's where this book comes in. It helps to push you, to let you know that there is still hope, no matter how difficult the situation looks. And so that prodigal son, he was by himself in that pig pen. And he found a way to encourage himself. And he did. But sometimes you may not have a pig pen, you just need a book.
So basically, he was casting his pearls before swine until he said, I got to get out of this pig pen. It's just not working out.
There you go.
Hey, you know what? When you start looking at the pig and going, man, you're looking pretty good right now, you know you're in trouble.
That's a
It's bad.
damn good looking pig.
It's bad.
That's when you know it's bad.
That's
when that, like you said, when you're below the line and you consider it your norm.
Yes.
And you're trying to get that's why, sometimes we're uncomfortable for a reason. There's a reason you're uncomfortable at that job that you're at. There's a reason that you're uncomfortable in that relationship that you're in.
Right.
There's a reason there's a reason for our discomfort. And I think it doesn't hurt to ask the question, why?
I
Right.
gotta, did I tell you guys about the Blue, the hound dog story?
No, but
No,
I would
Like you're
like to
gonna
hear.
say,
I would
no,
love to hear
and I
that.
don't
Yeah.
want to hear it. All right. So a guy's walking down the block and he walks by a house. There's a guy sitting on the porch and a dog sitting next to him. And the dog is howling. He's like, "Ooh." Guy walks over, says, "What's wrong with your dog?" Says, "Nothing." Says, "Why is he howling?" He's like, "He's sitting on a nail." He's like, "Why doesn't he get up?" He says, "I don't know. He just wants to complain about it." So how many people do you know that are sitting on that nail? They like complaining about it, but they don't get up off of being uncomfortable to
Wow.
get comfortable. So one of the things in my ancient wisdom is get comfortable being uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. Get uncomfortable being with the swine.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit there, Oscar. But you know
It's
what?
going to be uncomfortable leaving something you know, even though, you know,
Oscar, you there?
yes, I'm
Oh,
here. I got goofy. Like I said, I have goofy connection today. I don't know why, and I'm going to try to fix it on the fly.
you know,
So
you
there we go.
should call Disney. You know, they can fix stuff like that since Goofy's messing with you.
I got a good goofy joke. I'll tell her as soon as we're off the air.
So, all right. So here's some of the ways that you can find Bishop ONeil's book. You could go to, if you're on Facebook, you're watching us on Facebook right now. You could go to the ONeil Effect page, the ONeil Effect, and you can find the book there. It's only $15 during pre-sale. Only $15 during pre-sale. Once the book is off pre-sale, it's going up. So get it
Yes.
while you can. All right, get it while you can. Tell your friends about it. Tell your brother, your uncle, your sister, your niece, you know, your long lost, grandfather. You know, you never met. You know, the uncle that was down the street you never seen before. You know, all those guys. Everybody needs a copy of this book, and you can find it also at Phoenix National Business Group.com. Okay, you go to my website, go to our website, and you can definitely find it there. You can find any of our programs on our website. So get go on there, order your pre-sale copy today, which is going to be autographed by the author. So you
Yes.
want to make sure you get that autographed copy. All right. Um, Also, you know, we're making moves here at Phoenix National Business Group where we are looking to expand our ground. So keep an eye out because we're going to be on some of your mainstream platforms before the year is out. So we're in great anticipation of that. And we just want to welcome everybody to keep their eye out for it. If you want to be on our program, you just have to give me a call, visit the website, Phoenix National Business Group, tell us your program idea, and we will help you to produce that. All right. So thank you all for watching again today. But before we go, and we have Bishop ONeil on the line, so we want to make sure that we make full use of him being here. He's a busy man. So Bishop ONeil, if you could do a walk away pitch as to talk to the person that this book is geared toward, what would be that statement? What would be that comment?
If you right now, and just to go back on a statement I made before, 6 months ago, we're ushered into a crisis. We're never prepared for it. A country was never prepared for it. The sad reality of that is that we were booming. May not be booming for everyone, but the economy was doing well. Stocks were doing well. My stocks were growing in my 401k. So things were going on well. A lot of security in jobs. People were secure. They took out a lot of debts because they felt secure. Bought houses, cars, and credit cards because they had security in their job. And without any warning, here comes this crisis. Now, a crisis like this will push you away from that place of happiness where you start to become frustrated, discouraged, delusional about what your future looks like. This book will help you to rise again, motivate you to get back up. Understand something. You did not cause it. You did not create it. You are a victim of it. So it means then, as a victim of something, you do not have to remain that. You can pull yourself back from where you are. So why this book? Why now? Why in this situation? Why in this crisis? What better time for you to have a book that speaks to where you are and helps to bring you back and motivate you and lift you up? Let me use a quick scenario. When I'm going to work in the mornings, I buy a cup of coffee. Psychologically, I think it does something for me. I think it keeps me energetic. It keeps me motivated, ready for whatever I'm going to face in the office or with my clients. Let this book be a cup of coffee. Let it be the book that motivates you, that makes you think of the positive instead of the negative. Because while you are living, hope is still alive. Rise again. That's what this book is about.
I love it.
Love it.
What I'm getting from the book is, I don't know if it's an old saying, but pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice.
There you go.
Wow.
So yeah, you got kicked in the shin, for lack of a better word, because we're on a family network. And again, luckily, and I'm talking to you guys, that we are spiritual beings in a temporary body. So that nasty kick is something our spirit says we need to learn and overcome. So that's what I'm getting from the book and from what I'm seeing. Like you said, no one was prepared for this. So it's a good time for the spirit world to say, okay, wake up. This normal isn't normal. There are not enough people that are being lifted up by that tide.
Absolutely.
So now let's do it the right way.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Oscar. That's a great summary of that. And we really appreciate you coming on, Bishop ONeil. I know we're going to see more of you. Do not miss the program. Do not miss the program on September 19th. You'll be on again live here on the Phoenix Network. And we're going to talk about some of those deeper things that we have to deal with. You get more details on his show as well. He really talks about it, very clear on how he handles, some of those issues. And I mean, think about it. It's really rough to have to recreate yourself and to rebuild yourself. And he's been through that process of doing that. So I want to hear more. I know you want to hear more. So stay tuned, because he's going to be talking more about that on his program, The ONeil Effect. I think everyone is kind of learning what that effect is, Bishop. The ONeil Effect is, that's it. How to get out of your grave clothes and move forward. So we're really glad to have you. Thank you for your message. Thank you for, really writing this book. And I encourage everyone. I already ordered my copies. I ordered one for myself, ordered one for my wife, ordered as a gift, even, for a friend. There are people that are hurting. If they can't afford to buy the book, just buy the book for them. Don't just anticipate that they're going to know about it, but, reach out to them and tell them that, there's a book I believe that's going to help you and encourage you.
I'm going to
So-
order 3 books, one for me, one to give away, and one to put on eBay because I know this is going to go.
A great one. Absolutely. I didn't order mine for eBay. Okay, I need to order one for eBay. So yeah, that's real talk right there. Real talk. So again, everyone, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for what's going on here at Phoenix National Business Group. And we will see you again next week on Focus on You.